Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Rachel Moore. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My full name is Sue Lane.
And what should I call you?
You can call me Sue.
May I see your identification, please?
Yes, of course. Here it is.
Thank you. Let's begin the test. Do you like traveling?
Yes, I really enjoy traveling. It helps me relax, learn about different cultures, and meet new people. I try to travel at least once or twice a year.
What kind of places do you like to visit?
I usually prefer nature and quiet places like mountains or villages, but sometimes I also enjoy visiting big cities with historical sites and museums.
Do you prefer to travel alone or with others?
I prefer to travel with friends or family. It's more fun and we can share experiences together. But I think traveling alone also has benefits, like more freedom.
How often do you travel by plane?
Not very often. Maybe once a year, usually during summer holidays. I normally travel by bus or car inside my country, but I take a plane for international trips.
What was the last place you visited?
I recently visited Cappadocia in Turkey. It was amazing. The landscape was beautiful, and I even took a hot air balloon ride for the first time.
Now I'm going to give you a topic. You'll have 1 minute to prepare, then you should speak for up to 2 minutes. Describe a memorable trip you took. You should say where you went, who you went with, what you did there, and explain why it was memorable.
One of the most memorable trips I took was to Rome, Italy 2 years ago. I went there with my cousin during the spring holidays. It was our first time traveling abroad together. We visited many famous places like the Colosseum, the Vatican, and Trevi Fountain. We also tried delicious Italian food every day, especially pizza and gelato. What made the trip memorable was the atmosphere of the city. The history, the art, and the people were all amazing. Also, we got lost in the small streets one night and ended up discovering a lovely hidden cafe with live music. That moment felt like a scene from a movie. I'll never forget it.
Why do people like to travel?
I think people travel for many reasons. Some travel to relax and take a break from work. Others want to explore new cultures or try new food. Travel also helps people learn more about the world and become more open-minded. What made the trip memorable was the atmosphere of the city. The history, the art, and the people were all amazing. Also, we got lost in the small streets one night and ended up discovering a lovely hidden cafe with live music. That moment felt like a scene from a movie. I'll never forget it.
Do young people and older people like to travel in the same way?
Not always. Young people often prefer adventure or budget travel like backpacking or going to festivals. Older people usually want more comfort and may choose guided tours or cruises. But of course, it depends on the person.
What are the benefits of traveling to other countries?
Traveling abroad helps people understand other cultures and ways of life. It improves language skills, builds confidence, and can even change your perspective. For example, when I visited Japan, I learned how respectful and disciplined their culture is, which influenced my own behavior.
Is travel becoming easier today compared to the past?
Yes, definitely. Flights are cheaper, online booking is simple, and we have translation apps, GPS, and digital maps. In the past, people had to rely on guidebooks or travel agencies, but now you can plan everything on your phone.
Should governments encourage people to travel within their own country?
Yes, I believe so. Domestic travel supports the local economy, creates jobs, and helps people appreciate their own culture. For example, during the pandemic, many people in my country started visiting local destinations, which helps small businesses survive.
Do you think tourism always has a positive impact?
Not always. While tourism brings money and jobs, it can also cause problems like pollution, overcrowding, and damage to historical places. For example, some cities in Europe are limiting tourists because locals can't enjoy their neighborhoods anymore. So I think tourism should be managed carefully.
What kind of problems can tourists cause in popular destinations?
Tourists can sometimes disrespect local customs or leave a lot of rubbish behind. They might make too much noise or behave in ways that annoy local residents. In very touristy places, prices also go up, and that makes it harder for locals to live there. In some cities, even housing becomes more expensive because of short-term rentals like Airbnb.
How can tourism be made more sustainable?
One way is by promoting eco-friendly travel. For example, tourists can be encouraged to use public transport instead of private cars. Also, local governments can limit the number of visitors in sensitive areas like national parks. Providing information about local culture and rules also helps tourists behave more responsibly.
Do you think virtual travel will ever replace real travel?
I don't think so. Virtual tours are useful for learning or planning trips, but they don't give you the same feelings. You can't smell the food, meet the people, or walk through the streets in real life. Maybe for some people with health issues, virtual travel can be helpful. But for most people, the real experience is much better.
How can travel change a person's perspective on life?
Travel often helps people see things differently. When you visit a new country, you notice how people live, what they eat, how they think, and you start to realize that your way of living is not the only way. This can make you more open-minded, more patient, and more respectful of differences. Personally, travel has taught me to be more independent and curious.
Why do some people prefer not to travel?
There could be many reasons. Some people feel uncomfortable being away from home or dealing with unfamiliar environments. Others may have financial problems or health issues that make traveling difficult. Also, not everyone enjoys the stress of airports, language barriers, or trying new foods. For some people, staying in their comfort zone feels safer and more enjoyable.
How important is it for children to travel when they are young?
I think it's very important, especially for their education and personal growth. Travel exposes children to new environments, languages, and traditions, which makes them more curious and adaptable. They also learn how to deal with change and new people. For example, a child who visits a different country might become more confident and open-minded than one who has never left their hometown.
What is the difference between traveling for leisure and traveling for work?
Traveling for leisure is usually more relaxing. You choose where to go, what to see, and how to spend your time. It's meant to be enjoyable. Business travel, on the other hand, is more structured. You often have meetings, tight schedules, and less time to explore. Even though both involve visiting new places, the purpose and experience are very different.
Do you think traveling is better when it's well planned or spontaneous?
Personally, I prefer a mix of both. Having a basic plan helps avoid problems with hotels or transportation, but being too strict with a schedule can reduce the fun. Some of the best travel moments happen when things don't go exactly as planned, like discovering a hidden cafe or joining a local event you didn't expect. So I'd say plan the basics, but leave room for surprises.
How can travel help with language learning?
Travel gives people a real opportunity to practice a language in daily situations. Unlike classroom learning, where everything is controlled, traveling forces you to speak with locals, read signs, and listen to how people really talk. Even if someone doesn't speak fluently, just being surrounded by the language helps improve vocabulary and pronunciation. I improved my English a lot during a short trip to the UK just by talking to people and hearing English all day.
Will travel continue to be popular in the future, or will people travel less?
I think people will always want to travel, but how they travel might change. With rising environmental concerns, some people may choose eco-friendly options or travel less often. However, the desire to explore the world, see new places, and meet people will never disappear. So maybe we'll see more local travel, slow travel, or even virtual tourism, but not a total decline. I think people will always want to travel, but how they travel might change. With rising environmental concerns, some people may choose eco-friendly options or travel less often. However, the desire to explore the world, see new places, and meet people will never disappear. So maybe we'll see more local travel, slow travel, or even virtual tourism, but not a total decline.
If you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go and why?
I would go to New Zealand. I've always wanted to see the natural beauty there, like the mountains, lakes, and forests. It also seems peaceful and less crowded compared to other tourist places. Plus, I'm a big fan of The Lord of the Rings, and many scenes were filmed there. So for both nature and movie reasons, it's at the top of my list.